What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and in this one, we recap a very interesting recruiting weekend for the Wolverines. They came away with 2 commitments from a top wide receiver target and top cornerback target. However, they did miss out on Kelvin Russell as we talk about that, and their cornerback target, Brody Jennings, flipping his commitment to Miami. We also give the latest on some of the top remaining targets for the Wolverines, like the 5-star running back Savion Hiter, top cornerback in the 2026 class, Davon Benjamin, plus an update on linebacker recruiting. Then we also talk about Big Ten Media Days for the Wolverines, and also, will Michigan make the college football playoffs in the 2025 season? We go over all that and more in this video, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so I hope you guys all had a great 4th of July and 4th of July weekend, but we got some recruiting news here to talk about for the Wolverines. We already made videos on the 2 commitments that the Wolverines came away with, and that was first on July 4th, the 2026 4-star wide receiver Travis Johnson. He committed to Michigan on Friday afternoon. It was a big win for the Wolverines and a big get in the wide receiver room, as the 6'4", 185-pound wide receiver is going to be somebody who could make an early impact here for the Wolverines, along with their other 6'4" wide receiver in the class, the top 100 wide receiver Zion Robinson. But according to E.G. Holland of On3 and the Wolverine, Javoni Simmons said, speaking on it, Travis Johnson, who is his assistant head coach and has helped guide Johnson throughout his journey. He said he's very explosive. He can make any catch in the world. He's faster than everybody thinks he is, and once he gets that ball in his hands, he can create some yak. And he said, I see him fitting in very well at Michigan, and I was surprised he chose the cold, but knowing the kid he is and the man he's going to become, I feel like it's going to be the perfect fit for him. So that was a big time get in Michigan's wide receiver room. You know, despite losing out on the 2026 5-star wide receiver Kelvin Russell, which, if you guys didn't know already, he committed to Syracuse on Saturday night, despite many people thinking he would choose Michigan. He did wind up choosing Syracuse, but Michigan's wide receiver room is still in great shape here in the 2026 class. They got some great receivers in the class, starting with Zion Robinson and then also Travis Johnson, but also Jalen Pyle, who is a very, very underrated recruit in the 2026 class. Now, we're going to see if Michigan continues to go after Kelvin Russell or not. There is a long time until signing day, so the Wolverines can definitely keep pushing for him. And I will say, I don't know if Syracuse is going to be the school he winds up going to, because there's not only going to be just schools like Michigan going after him still, but teams like Miami as well. But nonetheless, Michigan's wide receiver room this class so far is pretty good, and they've got some talented kids coming in. The Wolverines also picked up another big-time commitment on Saturday from the 2026 4-star cornerback Dorian Barney, and it came at a perfect time because the Wolverines did lose the 2026 4-star cornerback Brody Jennings. He flipped his commitment to Miami, which doesn't come as much of a surprise. That was, expected to happen. He committed in to Michigan's 2026 recruiting class early in the process, but it always seemed like he might potentially flip his commitment and go elsewhere anyway. But he did flip to Miami, and it seems like it was a more of a reason to stay close to his family, which you can't blame the kid. And I won't go into detail on why exactly he wanted to stay close to his family, but Lamar Morgan posted on X, he said family first, all love, after Brody Jennings did, flip his commitment to Miami. But that was why it was big time to pick up the commitment from Dorian Barney. Michigan needed an elite cornerback in the class, and they got it. This was also a former recruit who was committed to Alabama, and he is from the state of Georgia, ranked 148th nationally on 24/7 Sports composite rankings. So that was a big time pickup right there. Michigan got 2 commitments, wanted to get 3 with Kelvin Russell, but he winded up going to Syracuse. But still, pretty good weekend for the Wolverines, even after, despite losing Brody Jennings as well. They pick up a commitment from the 4-star wide receiver Travis Johnson and the 4-star cornerback Dorian Barney. And the Wolverines currently have the number 7 class in the 2026 recruiting class rankings, right behind Ohio State now, but the Wolverines still have some more work to do here. And obviously, one of their top remaining targets is the 2026 5-star running back Savion Hiter from the state of Virginia. Has a top 4 of Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, and Tennessee, but this one seems like a Michigan-Tennessee battle. And he did recently say on July 3rd that a commitment date would be coming soon, as he is expected to make his decision some point this summer, as that is a very, very important target right now for the Wolverines, and especially for running back recruiting, because if they don't land him, who knows who else they're going to be going after. They would definitely have to go back to the board and see what they could do if they can't land Savion Hiter. They've already landed the 3-star running back Jonathan Brown, kind of as a develop piece to go to the running back room. And right now, Wolverines' major top priority is Savion Hiter. They have got to land him at this point, especially with running back recruiting the way it's gone. But another big time target is now Davon Benjamin, as the Wolverines are really working hard in this recruitment. They're right up there with Oregon, it seems like, with the 2026 4-star top defensive back, target, and cornerback, ranked as a top 100 recruit, 35th nationally on 24/7 Sports composite rankings, and he is ranked as On3's #1 cornerback. But right now, Oregon does lead in his recruitment, but Michigan has made things interesting in this recruitment. He is planning on an August 2nd decision. He did take an official visit to Michigan over the official visit, season, as he took one May 30th. So this is one recruitment to keep an eye on, as so far Michigan does have 2 defensive back commits from Andre Clark and Dorian Barney, who are 2 very good secondary players here that the Wolverines picked up, but landing Davon Benjamin would be very, very nice. The Wolverines also need to step up their linebacker recruiting as well, though. They're still going after Nick Abrams, the 4-star from the state of Maryland. Hopefully Michigan can try and make something happen in that recruitment, but he recently basically said that Michigan was 4th in his recruitment behind Oregon, Alabama, and Georgia. We'll see if that changes, but he is set to announce his decision on July 16th. Michigan's also going after Braden Rouse, but they are both playing catch-up with both Abrams and Rouse. Anthony Davis is set to announce sometime in August. Maybe Michigan steps it up in that recruitment. Michigan could also go back to the Liberty commit Caden Catchings, which they did offer him a scholarship, as they could potentially try and flip him and push harder for him. And also they could circle back to Kenneth Goodwin, who did commit to SMU, but Michigan really didn't push hard for him. So that's some recruiting news right there in the latest on Michigan football recruiting, but it was definitely a big recruiting run the past couple weeks here for the Wolverines towards the end of June and early July. With all of these commits coming in, Michigan really bumped up in the rankings. But I did want to talk about some other things. First, Big Ten Media Day, as the 3 Wolverines who will be representing Michigan is Max Bredesen, Ernest Hausman, and Derek Moore, as those 3 players will be representing Michigan at Big Ten Media Days, which I believe Michigan will be on the last day, which is July 24th for Big Ten Media Days. Then I also wanted to mention that Dominic Zvada, Michigan's kicker, was named to a Walter Camp preseason first-team All-American, as the Wolverines are returning one of the best, if not the best, kicker in all of college football, to Dominic Zvada next season. Also wanted to talk about Phil Steele, who did place Michigan as number 12 team in the nation in his 2025 preseason power poll, and he does believe that Michigan will make the 12-team college football playoff this season. He said last year the Wolverines lost 14 players to the NFL, and this year only lost 7. And despite losing, some of their talented defensive line players, he said their front 7 is still among the best, and the offense last year was well below standards, but has more experience and talent and an exciting quarterback in freshman Bryce Underwood. And they also have the schedule to compete for a Big Ten title, avoiding Penn State and Oregon, and getting Ohio State at home. And he has 4 Big Ten teams in the playoffs: Penn State, Oregon, Michigan, and Ohio State. So let me know what you guys think Do you think Michigan will make the college football playoffs in the 2025 season? I certainly think they have a shot, especially with how good their defense should be and a much improved offense, as next season definitely should be exciting to watch. But with that, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it, and we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.